Hey guys, welcome to the Summer I Turn Pretty read-through, day 3. Hopefully the TV isn't too loud, but the TV's downstairs and I feel like you might be able to hear it. Today we are reading 21 through 30, or walking through those chapters, because we're not reading, but I might be pulling out some quotes here and there. But we start 21. We start out and we meet Mr. Clay, but if you guys have only seen this show, this is actually Gas Station Guy, if I'm correct. He's Mr. Gas Station Guy, but in this he's like friends with Conrad and Jeremiah and the boys, and I think they just like hang around because like obviously it's a small town and it's like everyone knows everyone and they're just friends because they're there. That's how it seems. He's a year older than Conrad, but no one seems to like him. Or like I said, it's a small town. He's just there. They're hanging out with him. Belly honestly doesn't like him that much. He makes her nervous. Clay definitely has some sort of thing for Belly. Just a little something. And all the boys are like, come on, she's like 15 or 16, whatever. And then I think Belly says something about it being illegal maybe. And he's like, crap, like my last girlfriend was 15. But Belly talks about obviously Conrad, because she doesn't want anyone else other than Conrad. But Belly says, I nursed a crush on Conrad for whole school year. I could survive for months, years on a crush. It was like food. It couldn't sustain me. If Conrad was mine, there was no way I'd break up with him over a summer or a school year for that matter. But I'm trying to think, why did she start talking about that? Oh, like long distance relationship, or like just they were talking about long distance and just for the summer, like romances. Basically small talk with this Clay guy. Clay obviously doesn't remember Belly, but like Belly's like, I've known you, like I met you 10 years ago. But I guess Conrad's being overprotected, or like Conrad's like, you came down here to swim, like why are you bothering us? And then Jer obviously has to back him off, being like, give her a break, she wants to swim, she'll swim. And then Belly's inner thought is, why is Conrad such a freaking dad? But a lot more small talk, and then they finally talk about like the campfire, whatever, that's going on tonight. Clay invites her because Clay's got something for Belly, but obviously she went. What's different from this is like Steven's gone, where like the whole show like Steven's mainly there, like Steven doesn't leave, where like this Steven isn't there. I think it's less drama without Steven there. Like at least Belly's having a little bit more fun in the book and more carefree, where like Belly in the show has to like be like, what's my brother gonna say, or like has to worry about that because Steven has a lot to say. We love Steven, but he's got a lot to say about Belly and what she's doing. And same with the other two boys. She just has to worry about everyone, and she's like, well, I'm like 16. Why can't I like go off and just like do my own thing and like go to my own stuff like you guys are doing it? And they're like 2 years apart. Like, why is it such a big matter? But going to the bonfire, this is where she meets / reconnects with Cam Cameron, and it will always be Cam Cameron. I could call him Cam or Cameron, but Cam Cameron is the best name. And they start talking about where they know each other from, like why they look familiar. Obviously it's Latin, they met through Latin and their Latin names, Sextus and Flavia, and that's how they like realized like, oh, I know you now. Like, I don't know how that works because I've never had a class where like they give you a name. I've known people who have had it, but it wasn't to the point where you didn't know anyone else's name. So it's just like, I don't know, like how do you not know his actual name? They talk about like the nicknames because she introduced herself as Isabel, but she's like, everyone calls me Belly, and it's like a nickname that her dad gave her. But they just have small talk. They love talking about languages, or at least Belly does, because Belly talks about how she is in AP French and learning French. Just the whole like first talk with Belly and Cam. They talk about why they both went to this bonfire anyways, because it's not their usual scene. But Cam Cameron's leaving and he asks Belly like, hey, do you want to come with me? And she's like, no, I have people taking me home. I went with them, so they're gonna take me back home. So Cam's like, yeah, I know. Your brother keeps looking over here, and it's Conrad looking over with a red socked cap girl, which is Nicole. Now we're meeting Nicole, or Nikki. I think it says Nicole a lot in this book. They talk about Conrad and how she knows Conrad and Jeremiah and all that. Cam starts talking about how he's so interested in whales, how he's interning and studying whales or the watching boat and all that. But Belly finally gets in, saying she'll get a ride with Cam, and obviously Conrad's like, no, you don't know this guy. And Belly's like, yeah, like, well, I've had a class with him, whatever. But they start getting in a fight because Conrad can't have her going in with a stranger, and it gets bad. But one of the lines Belly says in the book, which isn't the show, this scene in the show is so much different, I will say. But I'd rather ride with a stranger than with someone who has been drinking. Either way, he was drinking. Conrad's flat off drunk during this scene. He's like, I've had one beer, like, I'm fine. Belly's like, you're an asshole, which he's kind of being an asshole at this point. Conrad's being kind of like an L. Then Nikki kind of bumps in, being like, is this your girlfriend? They're like, no. And she's like, are you like his sister? Like, what is this? It's just like their moms are friends. Belly's talking a lot. Conrad doesn't like it. Conrad's not really liking it anything right now. Jeremiah comes in all like, whatever, trying to break it up. He's trying to like be breaking out. He's like, no confrontation, like, let's stop this right now. And then she goes back to Cam, and Cam's like, what is all that about? And she's like, nothing, like, let's just go. And he's like, I don't know if it's a good idea, but he's like, I'll stay with you if you want and hang out. He said the whales can wait for her. That's cute. I love Cam Cameron. They might not be good together, but we love Cam Cameron. Cam Cameron is definition of baby girl. I think he is, now that I'm thinking about him. He's such a gentleman. He gives her his hoodie because it's cold. They have some more small talk about some Dr. Pepper. They exchanged numbers, and then that's kind of it with Cam Cameron for now. Well, I'm sure we'll come back to Cam Cameron later in this section of chapters, but finally they leave with Conrad and Jeremiah and the boys. Belly and Conrad talk about Cam and Nikki, which still right now is Red Sox girl, but I know she's Nikki, so I'm gonna be calling her Nikki. And something really good happens that Belly says this might have been the best night of her life, or of my life, of her life. But that's what she says, that might have been the best night of my life. And it's just like, she got out there. She doesn't do that often. She got out there, and I know she was in the spotlight a little bit, and she's always used to being in the back lines of stuff, so she had some fun, and she did it. It might not have been her usual scene, but she didn't mind it. I will say, rereading this, there's so many people, like, I just don't remember, because, like, they're there for, like, a little bit. Like, Sean Kirkpatrick? Something like that. He was, like, a drama geek, saw right into Billy's soul. Maybe a guy she was, like, seeing. And a lot of people, I guess, see Billy for her looks, not really her true self, and that's why this guy was brought up. Like, random guys who, or girls, random people just show up in this book, and we're like, it's not really in show, because, like, why do we need this for the show? But it's just, like, random people that are there, have first last names, but we don't see them at all. But they get home, Jeremiah can tell, like, what's going on with you and Mr. Conrad. And they're doing this while brushing their teeth. Kind of weird. kind of weird. Because he's a self-righteous neo-maxi zoom deeply. This is so, it's a line from Breakfast Club. That's why I don't know how to say it. I've never seen Breakfast Club. I should see it. Never seen it. I'm not really into movies or TV that much. I watch a little bit more TV than I do movies, but a lot of movies I haven't seen. A lot of, like, classic movies I haven't seen. But a lot of this language, I feel like I might have said this from, like, the last ones, it's so outdated. So outdated. And Jeremiah's like, give him a break. He's going through some sort of crisis. Like, just give him a break. Like, it will pass. And Belly just, like, really doesn't want to be talking about it at this point. He brings up the no pouting bells. I feel like I kind of hate some of this stuff. Like, okay, some inside jokes have to end. Some have to end. If it's been too long. If it started when you, like, were 4 or 5, like, maybe, like, she's becoming a woman at this point. Like, high school, you're really finding yourself, and you are getting to know yourself, but you are your own person in high school. Don't talk about pouting, whatever. I don't like it. Like, yeah, they made it up, like, when she was 8 or 9. And, like, they got the moms into it, and it just became a whole thing. It's like, maybe, I don't know, it's just, it's sad. It's sad that she's just kind of like, she's the baby of the family, and it's just, she's getting too much within it. Now we're on 22. She slept in Cam's hoodie. How cutesy. She's just, like, so happy that, like, Cam is the first guy who like really notices her and is like being sweet to her and all that, which I get. She's also like upset she gave him like the home phone. I would never give a guy my home phone, but she accidentally did it. Also, this was a much different time. I don't really know what year this was published. Published date? Where is that? I feel like I should know where this is. I thought I was on the right page for it. I just don't see a year. 2009? Yeah. But she was waiting all day for Cam Cameron. And the phone finally rings. And who is it? Oh, is it Cam? No. It's Mr. Fisher. How disappointing. We just wanted to be Cam. We wanted to be Cam and talk about whales and Latin or French. Probably Latin because they share that in common. And she's like, the moms aren't home. How are you doing? When are you coming down here? Or are you coming down here soon? And he's like, no. And he's like, I'll call back later. And I think this is where we start hearing a little bit more about Mr. Fisher, or their Conrad and Jeremiah's dad. Or we're gonna start seeing it in like the next chapter, maybe, sounding a little bit right, or soon. I don't know if it's these sets of chapters, but Mr. Fisher usually comes the weekend after the 4th, and that's kind of all we get because Belly ends up falling asleep, waking up to Jeremiah sprinkling Kool-Aid on her stomach, and she's like, can you stop? Like, what's going on? Jeremiah's like, don't be boring, like, come do something with me. Or in the show, if I remember correctly, it's like, you never like play with me anymore or something like that. Like, we also always use play, like, you don't play with me anymore, because it's something like Belly said as a kid, like, oh, you never play with me. And it's just like, stop babying her. Stop babying her. And this has to go with all the boys in this book, like, stop it. Stop it. Because I feel like if I was in high school, I'd be annoyed. I was getting annoyed in middle school, and my cousins would be like babying me. I'm like, shut up. Like, how many years older are you than me? Like, shut up. Like, I full on get how Belly feels, because like I've been in that situation. Like, okay, like, you're not that much older than me. Like, shut up. Shut up. You're still Gen Z. You're still Gen Z. Like, shut up. I guess she's working on her tan, and so they have some small talk. They end up going for a drive. I think, does she? Yeah, will you let me drive? Yeah. So Belly's driving. Belly's going driving with Jeremiah. Oh, they go. She drove there, but they went to a go-kart place. And I'm kind of really into this right now. All my friends are into F1, and sometimes I just want to go vroom vroom in like a go-kart or something. My friend like works at K1. I don't know if that's go-kart or what's that considered, but I'm like, she worked there for a little bit, and she would post like people driving them, and I'm like, I want to do that. Like, that'd be fun. And go-karting is always fun, I feel like. So they go go-karting, and she asks for like a red one or like a different color. And I guess the guy who like she asked, like, can I do like this color instead? He's like, you're so pretty, I'd let you drive my car. I don't know how I'd react if someone said that. And then Jeremiah, after this, after like they settle them up. He's like, what a freaking cheese ball. He needs it to get a real job. And then she's like lifeguarding, say, a real job. Some of Belly's comebacks, like, go girly. He's like, just drive. Like, I was like, just go. But yeah, they were driving. They get home. I think it's Susanna. Oh, her mom. Yes, her mom. Because I'm pretty sure Susanna is in her room taking a nap. Laurel says she has a cold. So, yeah. But Cam finally calls when she's not home. She missed Cam. But we're on to 23. And guess who calls? Is it Mr. Fisher? No. It's who we want Belly to get a call from. Cameron. Everyone's like, no. Like, she should be, like, hanging with Conrad. Who cares? At this moment, we're, like, Team Cameron right now. We'll be Team Conrad in a little bit. Or whoever makes a move on Belly next. Or goes on a date with Belly. But Cam called the next night. They talked and Belly was laying on one of the lounge chairs. And you know what? That sounds like a great idea. I wish I was laying on a lounge chair outside right now. Actually, no. It's really hot where I live right now. But I'm tired. I was out all day in the heat. So I know what it feels like right now outside. And that's why I'm not thinking straight. But they talk, and then Cameron comes over to Belly's, and they decide to play video games, swim. So no one was gonna be home right now, so no one bothers them. So she and Cam had the summer house to themselves, and he right away notices, like, hey, you're wearing my hoodie. And she's like, yeah, you know what, I might just end up keeping it. Go ahead and steal that hoodie, go ahead. But she makes a competition. She's like, you know, I won't let it be free since it is your hoodie, so let's race for it. But he's like, well, if we race, you can't get mad if I beat you. But they end up racing. Well, then she brings up her and Jeremiah used to race all the time. But she liked racing, I guess. They're racing in the pool, and they keep going. Who ends up winning? Oh, she won. She won, but she's like, you're letting me win. He's like, no, I didn't. She won the first one, but it's 2 out of 3 he suggests, and they do it, and she just kept winning and winning. She didn't want to be cheated on. She didn't want to be letting someone just like let her win. But he had to leave. She walked him to his car, and he's like, hey, you know, like, my friend's having a party tomorrow, you might know him, do you want to come? And she's like, yeah, I'll come. She must have mentioned her going to this the next morning, and Jeremiah has a fit over it, because, well, Jeremiah knows him either way if he doesn't have a fit. They talk about this guy, and Jeremiah's even like, who's Cam? Because I guess Jeremiah hasn't met Cam yet, and Belly's like, well, like, I met him at the bonfire. Oh, her and the boys are talking about this party and like what's going on. And Conrad wasn't going to this party, but now that he hears Belly going, he's deciding to join. But they talk about what to wear and all of that. Now we fast forward to like when they're leaving for the party. They finish getting ready, well, Belly does, and she's goes to say bye to the moms, and her mom's like, come help us, we're putting this album together. And Susanna knows right off the bat. Susanna knows everything. She's like, she's all dressed up. She's going out. Let her go out. The mama's always gotta hype Belly up, being like, you look so great. But they're going to party, and they talk about the boys going and that. And then Cam picks her up, and Jeremiah calls out whatever they're leaving to. And they start talking about like Belly's perfume and other stuff and just random stuff as she's like just trying to leave. And she's like, I gotta go, like Cam's here. But she hopped in. Cam talks. They talk. I don't know, my brain's not working. But like they talk about the guy they're going to. And earlier in this chapter, the boys are like, isn't this like the guy who does like crystal meth? So she asked Cam, because like Cam's like, he's kind of weird. And she's like, does he do meth? And it's like, no, or like not that he knows of, whatever. And they talk about Jeremiah and Conrad, because obviously he sees them. And they like talk about how they might be stopping by, and then they talk a little bit more about themselves, their like background, how Cam's dad is half Japanese, and he says his grandmother lives there, and we go out and visit her once a year. And Belly starts asking questions based off that, and they talk about, again, the languages they know how to speak. It's one of their common grounds. They talk it. He even knows Latin, I'm right. But weren't they in the Latin class? Because like Belly jokes how it's like a dead, and he's like, no, it's like in every Western language. But she was even like, it sounds like the 7th grade teacher. I'm guessing that's the grade they had that class together. If I remember correctly, it's middle school. I feel like 7th grade's middle school. At least that's when I was in middle school. But yeah, they pull up. Cam introduces her, but doesn't really know how to. Like, this is Flavia, because he knows her as Flavia. And then it's like, they had to explain, like, and that's kind of weird part. They had like explain the whole name thing. Not really fun, not really cute. But they're at this party. They're just vibing. Belly's kind of meeting all of Cam's friends currently. The boys end up getting there and start causing trouble. I guess Conrad goes, ooh, you're hitting on him now. Way to go, Belly, way to flirt. And then Jeremiah's there and gets on the karaoke machine. And do we know where this is going? We do know where this is going, of course. And Cam's even like, do you guys, like, do you want to go say hi to him? All of them. And she's like, yeah, not really. Like, these are like my brothers, which is weird to say, reading all 3 of them. But they end up going at some point. Cam's like, Jeremiah's a good singer, because I'm guessing who that was singing. Or Conrad was singing, which in the show Conrad can't sing. And then he asks if he and Nicole is better, and she's like, I don't really know, don't really care. And this is when Cameron gets his name forever, Cameron. And this is where Jeremiah sings Summer Loving. And yeah, and obviously Belly's not loving this. And she doesn't really know many people here. It's just kind of crazy. And I guess midway through the song, Cam and her walked out, which isn't the show. Cam goes right in. But then they ended up sitting on a staircase and talking for a little bit. Nothing too intimate, just like easy to talk to, need someone. Cam might know a few people there, but kind of in the same boat as Belly, and they're just chilling, having a little time where they could just sit and talk. Cam might have been trying to kiss Belly very shyly. He was like leaning in to do it, but it never really ended up getting there, sadly for Belly. And Conrad must have been watching or something, because he seems really pissed off. Or he's outside yelling. So is he drunk? He's probably drunk. That's gonna be a constant for Connie baby right now. But yeah, I guess Conrad got into a fight. Jeremiah is like, no, let's not worry about it, it's whatever. And then Cam's trying to be like, come on, let's get out, like, it's getting late, like, whatever, let's just like leave this alone. And she's like, I'm not leaving, like, the closest person to me right now. So they don't leave. Conrad's really throwing up a storm. And then to Jeremiah, she goes, are you gonna do something? Like, are you gonna fix this? He's like, no, he's a big boy, he's got this. But Belly basically breaks up the fight, and she's just like, okay, you guys stop. The guy doesn't know Belly, and he's like, where are you? And she's like, whatever, just like stop, like this is done, you guys are done. But everyone's kind of like all over the place. She hasn't seen Red Sox Girl. She talks about Conrad in her monologue, being like, he's just like a disaster waiting to happen, like shaking up a soda can and just it going everywhere. Like, he's just not having it. And they're just like, maybe we should get like this guy home. They say their goodbyes, and then Kim's like, are you okay, like, going with these guys? Like, they've had it. And she's like, whatever, like, I got it. So they get in the car. Jeremiah has to do something, and this is where it gets good. It gets good, guys. It gets so good. They're sitting quietly. Conrad starts playing with her hair from the back seat. They were literally in silence. He's playing with her hair, being like, your hair is like a little girl, the way it's so messy. I'm gonna be quoting a lot of word for word of this section, as I should though. He's like calling out Belly, like, because Belly's not answering. She's kind of like, whatever. She's like, I'm kind of just over this night. She's not as pissed off as the show, but she's like, I'm just like not having it. Cam left, I'm bored. But this is a direct quote. Gone. Every part of my body was awake now. I was holding my breath, waiting for what he would say. I didn't answer him. I didn't want to break the spell. And then Jeremiah ruins the moment. Jeremiah, love you, but you did ruin the moment. But yeah, then she turns up the music. They drive home, and Conrad's still really drunk. But 24, it's the next day. She has a feeling that something changed after last night with Conrad. Cam didn't call for the next few days. Cam is ghosting her for this moment. But when he did call, he ghosted her for a little bit, but he did call back. He didn't fully ghost her. He friendly ghosted her, I guess. I don't think that's the wording for it. Either way, he did ghost her for a few days. Then he called back. When he finally called, he didn't bring up the party. He asked her to go drive-in. What a perfect day. Maybe that's why I'm so into Cam Cameron. He goes... It probably is why I'm obsessed with Cam Cameron. I'm like, I want to go to a dine-in drive-in. Like, or all that. I just want to do a drive-in movie. I don't care what I'm watching. Okay, future Emily, because I was interrupted and went somewhere else. after that chapter. I didn't finish that chapter, so we're gonna finish, I believe we were on 24 from what I could tell. We were at the drive-in movie, and like I said, love it. But Belly's never been to a drive-in before, or at least with like a guy, because a lot of like drive-in movies are couples, and so she's like, this is new to her. I guess Belly, Steven, and Jeremiah went to spy on Conrad, which is funny because in the show everyone's spying on Belly, and she kind of wishes right now that like they were spying on her. I don't think she's having the best time. She's like kind of awkward, like doesn't know what to do, and Cam's like really into this movie, and I think Belly kind of maybe wants more. Belly like wants to go home at this point, and Belly's kind of like weird because she doesn't know if this is like an actual date or just like, is this just us being friends? She doesn't really know, but she felt like watching Cam more than the movie. She kind of wants something going on, either like a little bit of talking, because it is a drive-in movie. You don't have to be paying attention. So it's just like, she's like, I don't know what to do. And I kind of get it, because it's like a drive-in movie or like a movie at home, and it's kind of like an older movie like this, like possibly seen it. I feel like Belly has seen Sabrina, and she's just like, I want something else. I don't want to actually like watch it, and she's not really getting that at this point. Once the movie was over, he started the car and was driving home, and Belly's even like, okay, that's it, like no like going for ice creams or like doing something else, like that's it, just like watch the movie and go. And I get it, I love Cam, but it's kind of like, what's going on? They drove home in silence. I wouldn't be able to do that. My yapping self, I mean, I probably could if the vibe was that, but I'd probably never see that guy again. I need a yap. Listen to me yap right now. But then he finally says something and says, do you know why I remember you? Belly takes a guess at if it was her Coliseum model. He said, no, it's because I thought you were really pretty, like maybe the prettiest girl I'd ever seen. Love Cam Cameron, he's so sweet. And Belly's like, yeah, get out of here. And like, you're making this up, I don't believe you. And Cam's like, no, I'm serious. And yeah, seems like he got a little offended that she didn't believe him, and Belly just doesn't have the confidence yet to be like, yeah, I agree with you. And then he says, to prove his point, the first day you wore a blue dress, it was like corduroy or something, made your eyes look really blue. And she goes, my eyes are red. Cam says, yes, but the dress made them look blue. And Belly goes on to saying that's why she wore the dress, and it was one of her favorite dresses, and that's why she wore it, because it made her eyes look blue. And she goes on saying that Cam's really sweet. Belly asks, why do you come up to me? And he goes like, you were always with your friends doing your thing. And even goes on to say that he couldn't believe when he saw her at the bonfire, and it's just like a crazy coincidence that they ran into each other and he said he almost messed up one of his speeches on purpose just so she could win. This is when they had their first kiss. And Belly even said, I wish this was my first kiss. So Belly is on a high. She just got home from her movie with Cam. Maybe at the start of the movie, but the drive home really set her in. She feels really seen. But as she's coming home and she's coming up to the door, she hears Laurel and Susanna fighting. And this is a very rare occasion that these two are fighting. They're besties. They don't tend to fight a lot. Belly hasn't witnessed this a lot. Belly's only seen them fight about one time, and it was about a dress. Laurel didn't want her wearing that dress at 14, and Susanna's like, she could wear it if she wants to wear it. But so Susanna actually bought this dress when she was 14, and she found it in her suitcase. Laurel even saw it in her closet but didn't say anything. So this is like a normal fight, but like I don't think it went anywhere. It was a stupid little fight. They got over it. The one right now though, what we hear going on, or what we know is going on, Susanna says, Laurel, I'm a big girl now. I need you to stop trying to manage my life. I'm the one who gets to decide how I want to live it. And this is when Belly comes in because she's spying. This is about all she heard. Her mom says it's fine. Belly's like, come on, then why are you guys fighting? And they're both like, no. And Belly even goes to be like, promise. They say promise, but they're definitely fighting. Laurel walks out and Belly goes to Susanna. What's the matter with her? Thinking it's her mom. And she said, Susanna brushes it off and says it's nothing. And then they start talking about her date with Cam. We're in 26 and we're now into August of the book. Summer is ending, sadly, upsettingly, in the book. But Belly's finally, she has someone to spend this summer with, and a lot of this summer she spent it with Cam Cameron. This chapter is mainly about Mr. Fisher and Susanna, and that's because the first weekend of August is when Mr. Fisher comes visit the summer house, and whenever he comes up, he brings her lavender chocolates, which sound amazing. I've never had lavender chocolates, and flowers, because Susanna loves flowers and she loves them everywhere. She keeps them on her nightstand, flowers and vases all around the house. She just loves them. She also loves shells too, which we get to know. But Mr. Fisher isn't coming this week. Susanna says it's because he's too busy to get off work, and Conrad says it's because they're getting a divorce, and he thinks it's time, where Jeremiah's like, shut up at this point. And Belly's surprised because she feels like they're really in love. Whenever she is at the summer house, she thinks they have like this crazy amount of love, and that's what she kind of wants. And it's crazy to think for herself that they're not in love anymore, because all she saw is them give each other this unconditional love. And Jeremiah goes on to say they were in love and he doesn't know what happened. And Conrad goes on to say mean things about Mr. Fisher because he's not upset. He's kind of upset with this whole situation. And the boys are telling her to keep quiet because no one knows they know. But because their dad was sleeping in the guest room. They saw the stuff like really get moved out. They were even surprised, being like, how do you not know we know? Jeremiah's not taking all this too well. He's upset about it. So Belly grabs his hand after Conrad leaves just to be there for him. And it seems like Conrad this whole summer has been suffering and doesn't know how to deal with it. At least that's what Belly sees at this moment. Okay, we're on to 27. Laurel brings up that Cam and Belly have been hanging out a lot together this summer, and they're missing her around the house, her and Susanna. So Susanna suggests that Cam should come over. Belly really doesn't want to, and she's kind of like, well, he might be busy. And Susanna's like, at least ask him. That's all I'm asking. Because the moms would love to meet him, especially Susanna. But Cam didn't have anything, so he comes over. And this is one of my... I have so many favorite scenes in the show. I should stop. Because, like, they're all my favorite. There's so many favorite lines. I just, like, love this series and the show. It's just... rereading this series has... not rereading it, because I really haven't reread it. I've been, like, skimming. But just, like, bringing myself back into this world, I'm, like... I get so giddy. Because, like, I love everything. I have no hate for any characters. I'm just, like, I'm obsessed with all of it. I'm into it. This is just, like, amazing to me. But they start talking about why Cam doesn't eat meat. And it's Jeremiah kind of doing this. And they're like, well, your Belly eats meat, so, like, you guys, you shouldn't, like, kiss, like, sort of thing. And Belly's like, just, like, be quiet. And Cam's just like, Cam's no judgment. He doesn't judge anyone. It's just his personal choice. And it becomes a whole thing. Cam kisses her to, like, prove the point. And Belly's allowed to kiss, but that's it. And kind of jokes around. I'm sure Belly at this moment, at least in the show, she's kind of just, like, annoyed with all this. She didn't want Cam over in the first place, because now she has something that's hers that's hers and hers only at the summer house, and not anyone else's, not, like, the family's. But Belly kind of gets fed up with all the talk and is like, me and Cam are gonna go eat on the porch. But Cam doesn't follow with her, so they end up just staying there. Jeremiah's like, way to keep her in check. That's a bitchy move. But he's like, no one keeps me in check. After dinner, her and Cam take a walk on the beach. And they talk about the dinner, that she's glad he came, even though Belly's not happy with all the situation, but I think deep down she is happy. He even said, it didn't seem like you were that happy. And she's like, well, I am. Which one of those guys were your first kiss? She said, I told you that. And he said, yep, you said your first kiss was a boy at the beach when you were 13. And she asked him, guess? He guesses Conrad, and she's like, why did you guess him? And he's like, had a feeling, kind of got it from that. And she's like, no, it's Jer. But yeah, now we're on to 28th. Is at age 14. They're playing Truth or Dare. We're getting this flashback because I'm pretty sure this is when the kiss happens. So they're playing Truth or dare. It doesn't confirm if it's on the beach, but I'm guessing it's on the beach. But really no one wants to play other than Taylor. Finally, she gets everyone to play other than Conrad. She asked Steven, truth or dare. He goes truth. And they're just playing, really. Asking about first kisses, dating. A lot of them are playing truth or doing truth. A lot of it's about like dating or kissing or anything like that, which honestly for truth or dare was kind of normal. The first dare was Jeremiah, and Taylor dares him to kiss someone in the room. That person happens to be Belly. He goes ready before they kiss, but it was really no time for Belly before they started kissing. It was nothing too much, but she was kind of over it, and she was kind of like pushing him off her. Everyone was surprised other than Conrad, and Belly's kind of like, I just had my first kiss in front of all these people, and she's kind of mad because it kind of stole away her first kiss experience, and she's kind of mad because it's really just to make Taylor jealous anyways. And Steven's getting annoyed, being like, this game is gross, like we need to stop, like I'm done. A little bit after, Conrad and Belly started talking, and Conrad's like, well, I know you did enjoy it, and she's kind of takes it to dig, and it's like, you're too over yourself to like know like anything. Conrad thinks he notices everything, and they kind of get in a fight. He's kind of annoyed. She goes to her room and is like thinking about everything that happens, and she's kind of just like, weird, like this is my friend but he kissed me, like I don't know what to do. She wanted to talk to Taylor, but Taylor was downstairs kissing the same boy she just kissed. And when Taylor comes back up, they start talking. Belly pretends to be sleeping, but Taylor knows right off the bat that she's not. But Belly just kept quiet and it was fine. Okay, so the next morning she woke up, Taylor was gone. Taylor was out with Jeremiah doing a sunset from what she thinks. They've been planning it, Belly and Taylor, but they always overslept. It was her second to last morning, so they didn't have longer, so Belly thinks she chose Jeremiah with all that happened. Belly goes to change to go swimming, because that's what Belly always does when her mind's a little much, and she basically had it to herself other than Susanna. But when she opened the gates going out, she saw her mother on a lounge chair reading. They start talking about, did Belly sleep well, talking about Taylor, and Belly doesn't want to talk about Taylor, but Laurel and Susanna have a really good friendship, so she wants to talk some knowledge into Belly, talking like best friends are important. They are the closest thing to a sister you'll ever have. Don't squander it. And Belly gets defensive, being like, blaming it on herself. Laurel's always blaming it on Belly, and Laurel's like, I'm not blaming it on you, and why does Belly make everything about herself? Belly gets annoyed and jumps backwards into the pool. It was cold. Then she starts her laps and kind of gets mad. Her mother left. Then Taylor, Jeremiah, and Steven come out, and Taylor's like, you swim too much, you'll get broad swim shoulders. Belly's just like annoyed with the whole situation. And they're just like hanging out, asking where Conrad is. They talk about football because football's starting. She asks to race Jer. They start racing, but Belly still beats him. But the next morning is when Taylor leaves, and she was gone again. She didn't leave. She was just gone. So Taylor left the next morning. She was gonna join them if they were going to watch the sunrise. She didn't see them at first because she actually went down there, but then finds them. But it wasn't Taylor and Jeremiah kissing. It was Steven and Taylor. And this to Belly is crazy. She yells out, "Wow, so first Conrad, then Jeremiah, now my brother." And Taylor turns around right away, yelling Belly, and she's like, "Shut up." She said, "You're a hypocrite. You don't even like her. You said she bleached out all her brain cells with her son in." This is just like a whole fight out of the three of them. Belly's asking when it happens. Basically, it's just a whole really bad fight. After hashing it out a little bit, they finally call it like truce. They say they're sorry. Taylor says she's sorry to Belly. Belly's like, "Well, you said you'd be nice to Jer." And Taylor's like, he doesn't care. It's just like a whole thing. It still doesn't end well. They say they're sorry. Taylor says she's sorry, but there's still like stuff in there. And she even wishes she never brought Taylor. She says it to Jeremiah. He kind of agrees. And after this summer, she and Taylor were still friends, but always kind of goes back to like that first hash out. One quote that really kind of just, I don't know, it's something. "She known me my whole life. It's hard to throw away history. It was like you were thrown away a part of yourself." Friendship breakups, I feel like, are worse than actual breakups. Chapter 29, we're back in present tense. Belly just walks into Conrad's room. She did knock, but he didn't answer, so then she just went in, and he's like, "Why do you knock?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did. You just couldn't hear me." And they just start talking. They talk about football. Belly's like, "Why'd you quit? You love football." He's like, "Well, I really didn't. It was my dad's thing." And then he asks, "Why do you quit dance? You always like dance around like a little gnome." And she's like, "Well, not a gnome. I don't know if gnomes can dance." She talks a little bit about her in dance, but it was like the summer her parents got a divorce and it was all a little much and she didn't stick with it. She said she was really good. I could have been dancing in a company by now. To Conrad, and he's like, "Right." And she's like, "Well, at least I can, you can't." And he's like, "No, I can." And she's like, "Prove it." He's like, "I don't have to." They used to like dance with each other all the time. And then he gets up and dances with her. And he's even like, "I'm a better dancer than you." So this is just all her and Conrad before they go to bed for the night. We're chapter 30, age 11. They're at the summer house, of course, but Belly talks about CDs, how they always listen to CDs. They would dance around. Basically, they do all sorts of dances. at this specific memory, she really wanted dance, so she asked Steven. Steven's like, no. And Susanna's like, Conrad, go and dance with Belly. He actually does, even though he doesn't want to. And he teaches her how to shag. And yeah, that's kind of it. Other than like Conrad learned from Susanna. But that's the end of this one part. This much left. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have not already, go back and watch the first 2 videos. If you made it this far, you should have started with those ones, not this one. Sorry, it's 2 different sections of videos. Past Emily, future Emily. But yeah, if you heard that and fart, it was my foot on my bed thing. Bed? What's that thing? What's that? What's it called? I don't know. But yeah, follow me on everything. They're all down below. Follow my book account. It's Shelved by M, which I'm gonna be posting more on. I'm trying to get all this up. I would say you guys will have a video from me each day this week. I'm just trying to catch up with filming, and I'm having issues. There's a lot of family things going on in my life right now, plus work things, plus I'm trying to like get my YouTube together, because I kind of already have a book picked out for next book series. Not book series, because it is technically it's a series. Follow me on everything. They're all down below. And yeah, I don't know what else. Like, subscribe. Am I forgetting anything? I don't know. My brain hurts. I need to finish Liz. I need someone to edit my videos. That's what I need. I don't have the money for that. I would love that. I did find an easier way to edit though. That helps me out. But it still takes like an hour to edit each one. And I would love for these 2 videos to go up today. But filming is gonna take an hour. And then editing. So if I did that, I wouldn't get done till like midnight tonight. But I need that with the schedule I had for myself. If I can mess around with the schedule a little bit. But yeah, that's my issue. I'll see you guys next time. I'm tired, but I will be filming the next video, which will be out probably the next day, because I'll be every night this week. I'll be doing this situation. So yeah, go watch that, guys. Peace. Bye-bye.